What up, Nikki? Um, hey man, I got the characters, superhero sprites all in here. They look awesome. These are just amazing, man. I'm blown away by these. And the one you showed me with the sword looks amazing too. I can't wait to get that in there. I mean, I really didn't like this background for the quote unquote vortex or level up screen, and I feel like with this guy in here now, it just makes the whole level up scene look so legit and so nice, and I just really like it. And also too, I thought I have like this hover text with everything, like when you go over the guns or the dash or the sword. And at first I was like, oh, that text isn't really going to be visible, but it's perfect. I was going to do like a little bit of a text up here instead and just really shorten it, but I mean, you can still see through the text, you can read the text, everything's looking good here. So can't wait to see the coffin and the other one to really spruce up the title page and the intro, and just get the intro 100% buttoned up. Now, that being said, I feel I said in my email before, last one or two ones ago, that we might as well just keep rolling before we hit up the last two bosses and just get the buttons done. Since we're kind of on a roll here with the UI, we can do all the buttons first, and then after all the buttons are done, we can do the HUD, which would be a way of tallying lives and his special bar. And I've got a pretty good design already for that. I don't think that'll be too difficult. And that one's gonna be cool too, because it's gonna have a couple different animation frames to like let the person know when their ultimate's charged and stuff. I think it's gonna look really cool. So anyway, getting onto this, here's the screen now. Now that I've got our hero in place here, I've kind of rearranged some buttons. I mean, obviously over here, this new game and this God button are not gonna be there. Yeah, that's just for testing purposes. If you want to reset the game, you can go like this, or if you want to go into God mode and then unlock everything, as you can see here, you can do that and you get all the gold. That's just, we're not going to have them. So, we might as well do since I'm at this screen, we can focus on just, after the coffin and after the new scene or the new character sprite, the one with the awesome flame sword. I can't wait to see that. We might as well focus on what I have going on here. So we need one for the crossbow, the dash upgrade, the sword upgrade, the lives upgrade, and the special meter. So I'm thinking for here we'll do boxes, and they can be larger than these buttons. I've made some room here, so these buttons, actually we don't have too much wiggle room as far as up and down goes. I mean, I want to make them bigger as far as the y-axis and the x-axis goes, but maybe we can make these buttons like more rectangular. You see how the level buttons are? Maybe not quite as big as this, but like I don't want to go too far down and up, just because I don't want these buttons to have like only just a little bit of air in between them. But they most certainly can get, I mean, almost twice as big this way, and almost 3 times as big left to right, which would essentially make it almost the size of these buttons here. I want it to be like a little smaller than the level buttons, unless you think making all the buttons this size, where this size might, if you think that would probably be best, just to keep everything uniform, I'd be up for that as well. So what I was thinking with these is just to do like a very simple picture, more so, because people are going to be able to hover over it, when they have enough gold, they'll be able to hover over it, and if for whatever reason they don't understand that it's a picture of a crossbow, they'll just be able to read for a second and see that it says crossbow. So I was thinking for the crossbow to be a very simple picture of a crossbow, and then the dash is going to be the most difficult. That's going to have to be like a picture of, maybe just like a rough outline of our like dash attack, or maybe just like almost just like a picture of like a flaming triangular fire blast. And I might actually rearrange these buttons and do the sword first, just because that'll be a little bit more. And the sword button will just be like a picture of a sword. You can use like the outline picture of the sword. So I don't know. I don't know if it makes more sense that these buttons are square or if they're rectangle, and if you can fit the pictures in there better. Lives, I think maybe we should do like a picture of a heart. That's very recognizable by everybody. And the special, I think we might as well just roll with, we already have the button for the special. It could look a lot like our special power up. Maybe say SP instead of just S, or maybe just S. Because that'll be recognizable to the player. They can look a lot like these power-ups. I don't know if we want to go with this, like these color schemes, as far as like the pinks and the reds and the yellows and stuff. Just because the one thing I really want to make sure we do is we match this scenery here. I think that actually would match up pretty well. So basically I want to make something that looks a lot like our power-ups, just with pictures. So you see where this gun buff, how it's like that picture of that hand, picture that, but just like a picture of a crossbow. And then like I said, like the dash, that's going to be the most difficult one, but it can just be like maybe just something that is like the silhouette of our dash attack. Something like that, just an outline like that, and obviously you don't have to have all the crazy detail in there. Something that has the shape of our dash attack that'll be recognizable to the player. And like I said, I think I might put the sword first, so it'll, like first will be the bow, then they'll see the sword, and then they'll see the dash attack, and then at that point, that'll be the only thing left, that as far as damaging, that'll be left for them. So I think it might be a little bit easier. But we'll see, and then, lives, I'd be up for your interpretation of that. I was thinking for doing the, I think a heart would probably be the best. I was thinking for the UI, just to talk about in the future, the UI or the HUD, I was thinking about doing a classic like Zelda type, for his, instead of, right now in the scene I just have lives written there. It's just a drawing event. I was actually thinking about making and anchoring a separate HUD and putting the ultimate bar and the player's lives anchored together right next to each other, but then being separate actors. And I was actually thinking about doing like a small picture of this guy's face. I love this face so much. Like if you just were to do like a more bare bones version of it and shrink it down really small, and then we could do different animations, every single time you gain a life, it'd be almost like the Zelda hearts. So it would have probably, I think I'm going to max people's lives out at like 15. It will be the maximum amount of lives people can have. Like it doubles every single time. Let's actually see. When you get to 15, it costs, over 2 million here to go from 14 to 15. So, I'm thinking 15 is going to be the maximum of lives. So, we would need, an animation for 15 little heads. I'm still toying around with that, how I want to portray the lives. But the reason why I'm saying all this right now is maybe we do this button to look like what our HUD looks like in game. And I was thinking about using a small little picture of this guy's head, which is a classic, arcade thing, how they represent lives, either with hearts, and the hearts are actually physically represented. And I was thinking doing a small little picture of this guy's face. That being said, if we do that, maybe we make this button the same exact picture, which would be on the HUD. We could also just do a classic live thing. Like if you make like a really cool looking heart here, maybe we'll just do hearts. That might be easier. And I might even put like a lower cap on it. I mean, I might put like 10. I mean, I think like having 15 lives is really excessive for this game and kind of defeats the purpose. I don't want people to just be able to tank through the entire level. So I might even make it, capped at 10. Then, for our HUD, while the player's playing, it'd probably be 2 rows of 5 little hearts or little heads. So I'd be really curious to see what your ideas is as far as like what this button would be. And then the special button, of course, could be, just, another version of our power up, So I don't want them to look exactly like the power-ups, but they should be pretty close. And like I was saying before, I'm okay if we maybe want to do, because I do have a little bit of real estate where my mouse is. I've got more real estate left and right here. I don't have as much real estate up and down, just because I don't want these buttons to be too close together. They could be closer together, but I don't want them to be so close that people are getting messed up. So for right now, let's just, we got the coffin to do, and then, you're working so hard on these other sprites. Let's just go from there. I don't want to overwhelm you with these buttons yet, the level buttons. We'll just work on the ones that I just said. And let me know what you think, because I'd really be curious to see what your ideas are for these buttons, or if you already had something in mind. I'm totally up for anything that you might have an idea for. All right, man, later.